Back once again, back to you with a new segment. This is going to be a live computer build, or in this case, a live computer rebuild, because of course these are refurbished systems, or at least this will be a refurbished system once I am done doing what I need to do today. Um, but that is not really the way I want to start this. I have with me a very special guest, somebody you guys have not met yet, but some of you may be subscribed to his channel, maybe not. So without further ado, let me introduce
Hey,
Bill.
straight off the short bus.
That's it, straight off.
Welcome to Matt Emroy's channel and my special channel, Gigs for William.
And what's your other one?
Just a rant channel.
That's it.
So let us get on with the show, folks.
All right. So what I am going to do, I'm going to hand this over to Bill in just a moment. Do you want to say anything else about your channel, like what kind of stuff you like to do, or?
I'm driving a lot of gigs during this tough time that we have. I will not mention that word. We all know what it was. But I'm doing DoorDash, Instacart, Roadie, Point Pickup, and a few others, even Grubhub. So I'm bringing you, pick up your orders for food and groceries, and I'll bring them to your house.
And you know what? He'll do it speedily and with haste.
And a smile on my little face.
There you go.
All right, so let's get back to the show, and let's get rolling.
All right. And probably not going to be answering a lot of questions on this because he's going to be holding it. But if you see something pop up, if you want to answer the question, you're welcome to.
I'll just pose the question to you, and you can answer it.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so without further ado, let's get rolling.
All right.
Cue camera one.
And yep, you're going to hold it right at the ends. And you guys actually get to see me.
Okay,
How am I looking?
good.
All right.
By the way, someone just asked, have you heard about Windows 11 is coming?
I have. And I have not had a chance to do a lot of research on it yet, but I will tell you, I know it's going to be more like the Mac OS than any other version of Windows. And the one thing that I am not that happy about, and they might change this before it gets released, is it's supposed to have the tiles back like Windows 8 did. So we're going to have to see how that turns out. But if it's anything like Windows 8, I'm going to be very disappointed.
All righty.
All right.
So let's get on.
Grab that real quick from you.
All right.
This is integral to what we're going to do, folks.
And no, we're not doing brain surgery.
No, we could be, though.
Frontal lobotomy, 101.
I could use one sometimes, too.
So could I.
All right. So,
Without further ado, as I pan around.
first and foremost, I need to go ahead and open these up. We got some packages in, or I got some packages in today. And I needed these for this build, at least for one. I needed at least one package for this build, and I think it's this one right here.
Okay.
Not 100% sure. So what I have for you guys, got a IBM Think Center, and this is a M series Think Center.
Okay, I'm going to pan in a little bit to get the proper.
Sure. It's a Core i5 of some variety. I'm guessing a second or a third gen. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't actually booted this up yet. But this is what we're going to go ahead and refurbish today.
Chris Garrett responds that Windows 11 is a big joke.
You know, again, because I haven't really researched it out yet that much, I don't know whether, how can I say this? I don't know whether it's going to be good or bad yet. It's a little too early.
Well, you do remember the old joke about the word cement?
No.
Windows CE, MENT. You remember those, huh?
That's cement. Now that's cemented into my brain. All right.
All right.
So let's go ahead.
By the way, take a breath. Come on back.
All right. We go ahead and open this up, and I think this is the package that I've been waiting for. Something I need. Oh, and by the way, folks, when you open these up, don't ever do this the way I just did it. You want to use the knife away from you if at all possible.
Looks like Eric's Variety Channel said that's why he's going to stick with Linux.
Okay. All right.
Hello, Eric. How are you doing tonight?
All right. So let's see what we got in here. Making a total mess. Yes. So these are the video cards. These
All
are
right.
what I've been waiting for, and I'm going to have to actually change the bracket out on this
Okay.
before I put it in there. So let me go ahead and put that to the side. But you can see right there, these are just generic, or I should say generic. They're Dell branded AMD Radeon R7 240s, I believe.
By the way, our buddy Eric says he's doing well.
Excellent. Good to hear. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open the other two packages here. I'm pretty sure I know what they are.
Now remember, cut away from you.
Yep, I know it. So let's see what we got here. Got some USB. These are actually, okay, these are Bluetooth adapters. Now these are actually really good. I get these on eBay.
Okay.
They're only about $2 or $3 a piece, and they'll work in either desktops or laptops. So if you have an old laptop that doesn't have Bluetooth built in,
Mhm.
you just buy one of these on eBay, a couple of dollars, plug it in, and you're good to go. You got Bluetooth.
All right. Awesome Computer says hello.
Once again, throw that out. Who
Notice-
was it that said hello?
Awesome Computers.
Awesome computers.
Awesome Computers.
Awesome computers. Okay.
Sorry, folks.
And I'm not
Even
gonna
us
be-
humans have mental technical difficulties once in a while.
That's right. So I'll open this one up.
All right.
This
So I'm
is-
gonna zoom in on this.
These are the wireless cards. That's kind of what I thought they were.
Okay.
Once again, get these on eBay. These are about $4.50 a piece.
Okay.
These are wireless and 300 megabits. One thing I will say, these are 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth only. So if you have a newer router, and especially the Cox brand routers, the new ones only work at 5.8,
Mhm.
then these will not work. You can get other ones on eBay for around $8 to $10 a piece that actually have that capability.
Mhm.
But to keep my prices competitive, I have to go with the slightly cheaper ones.
They still work effectively. I have a couple of them.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop taking questions right now just for the sake of time, because I know that this is going to kill my battery. So
Okay.
try to take some more questions at the end. But let's go ahead and get started on the computer itself. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up.
And first of all, let's take a brief minute to recognize one of Matt's special people in the whole wide world as I pan over to the Baxter man.
And he wants to go out, but he's going to stay in for right now. Oh, got to keep a water bottle here with me. Okay, let's go ahead and open this up. With these cases, there's a button here.
Mm-hmm.
You push that and slide the case back, and
Wow.
comes right out.
Voila.
Okay, so looking in here,
But I do have to ask one question, Matt.
what's up?
Aren't you glad you have an assistant so you can actually concentrate on what you're doing?
Absolutely. Bill, you are an invaluable member of this team.
On that note,
All right, let's get going. So, very, very typical. If you want to come in just a little bit, I'll show you. It's a very typical setup in here. DDR3 RAM slots. You got 4 of them there.
Mhm.
We got PCI Express X16, X1, and then this one actually has 2 legacy PCI 32-bit card slots.
Mhm.
And this even has a couple extra headers if you want to put something like a USB memory card reader in.
Mhm.
But with this, take the front of this case off if I can. Now to do that, you basically just pull these tabs out. You want to be very careful because they're easy to break. And I believe this should just slide out like that. And yep, you can actually put in a 3.5-inch what do you call it? Any kind of 3.5-inch drive. So theoretically, you put a floppy drive in there if you wanted to.
Mhm.
But most people would probably save that for something like a memory card reader.
Yeah, putting a 3.5 floppy, that's going back old school.
That is, but as UXW Bill would say, there is not a real computer that doesn't have a floppy drive in it.
True. But
That's
the
it.
ultimate computer, instead of a floppy drive, How about a SCSI drive?
That's it. You got it.
I
SCSI.
think I think I just told my age on that one, folks.
I think, and you know what? I'm up there too because when I was in school, we still learned SCSI. So let
And
me
we
go
joked
ahead.
and we joked about tonight we're going to get SCSI.
That's it. So okay. So the first thing, I've actually cleaned this computer off before. However, I'm noticing there's some dust on the bottom. Now I'm using these Clorox wipes, or in this case, they're called 7th generation disinfecting wipes. You don't want to use anything microfiber because it'll create static and could damage the system. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just wipe the bottom of this case down real quick, avoiding the motherboard, of course. Now, some people might not like the fact I'm using these pre-moistened ones, but it dries quickly. It's 99% alcohol. Okay, so the very first thing I am going to do, I need to go ahead and remove the CPU fan heatsink so I can put in some new thermal paste. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on its side here. I want to get in there. Go ahead and pull that out. In this case, this one does not have a security tab, so I can just pull up on that and it'll come out. Now, as I've said before, when you do this, you want to caddy corner it or do it diagonally, so that one, that screw, and then that screw. And that reduces the stress on the board. Go ahead and pull that up, and as you can see, we have some very old thermal paste on there, and we also have some very old thermal paste on the CPU. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and take my, I'll just use the same cloth I was using before. I'm going to go ahead and start very lightly. I'm going to go ahead and just rub a little bit on here, because remember, you don't want to get any of that old thermal paste down onto the motherboard. So just rubbing very, very lightly will do the trick nicely. And as you can see, the old thermal paste is now on there and not on the CPU anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, just get that last little bit off, with the heat sink itself. And I'll just do it over here, because believe me, there were a few times I actually got it in the computer when I wasn't thinking. Happens to me a lot lately. I start working and I get, I get confused or I get distracted with something else going on. And let me go ahead and grab, I'll be right back, folks. Let me go ahead and grab actually, we'll use this microfiber cloth over here. I'm going to go right behind Bill. All right, I'll go ahead and wipe the rest of that thermal paste off. And what I'm actually using, you can get these on eBay, these are Protronics series thermal paste. If you can take a look at that. Is it focusing?
A little bit, a little fuzzy, but it's okay.
All right, we'll have to go with that. And I'm going to go ahead and open it. They even give you a little spludger tool, and yep, this is actually called a spludger tool, kind of like what you would use if you were working on an iPhone, just a little bit cheaper.
Okay.
And you want to go ahead and stir it a little bit, just to make sure that because it does kind of separate after a while. There's silver in here. This is like the generic Arctic silver. And what I like to do, I get about that much on. I would say that's a small dab, or a dab, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do is, instead of putting it right on the CPU, which is now, actually, let's go ahead and dry that off a little bit. I think I do have, let me find something here real quick. I'm just going to use the back of my finger. There we go. Okay, so instead of putting this directly on the CPU, I like to actually put it on the heatsink itself. So I'm going to apply about that much. You don't really need a lot. Now, you might want to use a little more if this was something like an i7 computer, but for this application, being an i5, that's enough thermal paste. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put this back in. I'm going to go ahead and hook that connector up. I don't know if you are going to be able to see that or not. It's a little dark. We'll get better, folks, once we start getting better lighting in here. So what you want to do, you want to make sure you stick this as close as you can, hopefully getting it right on the standoff screws. And I did pretty good that time. And what I like to do, I just take the palm of my hand right on top of the fan and I push down just a little bit because you want to go ahead and get a good seal, because that's what's going to dissipate the heat is that thermal paste. Now with your hand on there like that, I'm going to start with this screw, putting a little bit of pressure in evenly. Now if you get that one screw in, you still want to keep your hand there because you want to keep that down.
And you want to go diagonally because that equals pressure on both sides.
That's right. So now I'm going to go ahead and put that one in. Now that we got both of those in, it's safe to remove your hand. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the other two screws here. And we're not going to do it all the way. We're going to do it almost all the way. So now I want to check, make sure that, you know, everything is even and nothing's off kilter there, let's say. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the screwdriver in and do one more, tighten each of them one more time. So 1, oh, get that in there, 2, 3, 4. And that's in there nice and tight. So we have effectively applied new thermal paste to that CPU. So now I'm going to do the second thing, which is we're going to go ahead and replace the CMOS battery. Now that's really, really easy. And now that I'm looking at this, I actually already did it in this computer. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out, and we're just going to pretend like we're doing it again. So go ahead, I'm going to have you come here. The easiest way to do this, sometimes you need like a screwdriver, but because this has a big tab here, I'm going to take my finger, I'm just going ahead and push that tab towards me, and I'll do it quickly. You want to do it quickly, and you can see that it pops up, and now you can go ahead and remove that battery. And we're just going to pretend that I'm putting a new one in. So when you put it in, you're going to put it in at an angle because that's your tab right there. So you're going to angle it towards the two little standoffs back there. And then all you have to do is take your finger, push down until it snaps.
And you hear a click.
And you hear a click.
Which means it's properly seated.
That's it. So now we have the new CMOS battery in there. So from here, since it's easy and I don't need to do anything else in that area, I'm going to go ahead and just put the memory in. In this case, I'm going to be using what I have available, which are 2 sticks of, in this case, HP branded. This is DDR PC3 1066U. So this is unbuffered non-ECC memory, which is what you need for this. Now I'm going to go ahead, when you're putting memory in, generally, and this is not true of every computer, but for most, you want to go ahead and note if it's a dual channel setup, which this one is. You can see that you have 4 memory slots. So to make the memory run in dual channel mode, which will give you twice the speed, you go ahead and you put the memory in staggering slots, or in this case, you want to use the memory slots are the same color. And generally, you want to use the one that's closest to the CPU and the heatsink and the fan. So I'm going to go ahead and put the memory in here. Put that in. And I'm just going to lay it in. I'm going to lay that one in there too. Okay. Now when you put memory in, you want to put even pressure on both sides. So you take your 2 fingers like that, and you push, and you can see those side clips, clip that in place. That means it's a good seat. I'm going to do the same with this one. So 2 fingers, push down evenly, and
Good.
they're in place.
Good job.
So that's all you needed to do. So now we've put the memory in, we've replaced the CMOS battery, and we've added new thermal paste. Next, we're going to go ahead and put in the SSD. Now, I'm using these PNY. These are CS 900, 500 gigabyte drives. Go ahead and open that up real quick. Unboxing therapy. If you can see that, folks. Got the drive itself right there. Nothing special about these. They're really well priced at Walmart, $50 at Walmart. And I need to figure out where I'm going to mount this in this case. So this is your hard drive rail here, which just pulls out. And actually, these, I almost forgot about this because it's been a while since I've done a Lenovo. These actually pull up like that, and you can pull them out. So basically, from that point, you can go ahead and pull this out. Now, this is actually designed, of course, for a 3.5-inch drive. This is a 2.5-inch drive, right?
So how do we fix the difference?
So how do we fix it? Okay. So I think in this case, let me look at this again real quick. What I am going to do, I am going to get myself, which I already have, this is foam mounting tape. This is invaluable when you're mounting SSDs. Now, this is of a good note. You never want to use this with a conventional hard drive, i.e. something that has a motor in it. But for mounting SSDs, it's fine because these are super light. This weighs maybe an ounce at most.
So you'd have to say that if you put that double-sided tape onto a regular hard drive, the heat from the motor would actually make the tape soft.
That's correct.
Thus losing its pliability.
That's correct. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I can kind of eyeball this. So this is so easy to work with. So basically what I like to do, I just kind of go like this, right? And then you just can break it off and use as much as you want. This stuff's cheap, folks. I get this at the dollar store. It's $1 a piece. So you use as much of this as you want. And I think 3 strips are going to be the most I can do in this application.
All right, just to let you know, we have 11 watchers and 7 likes.
That's awesome. Please give us a like and thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to Bill's channel too. I don't have a link. I didn't get a chance to put a link in it, but go ahead and do a shout out of your channel. What is it again?
Well, I've got two YouTube channels. The one is Gig William's Preaching. It's actually a gig for William. It's DoorDash, Instacart, Roadie, Grubhub, DoorDash. And the other one is just a basic channel, which is, like what Matt would say, a rant every once in a while. Just a generic YouTube channel.
And if somebody out there would be kind enough, if you can copy and paste the link in the chat window for Bill's channels, I would really appreciate it. If one of you guys out there has the time, if not, that's okay. We'll figure something out there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount this. Now I need to figure out how I want to mount this. So this goes back in like this. So what I need to do is I need to mount this drive as close to the edge as possible. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just very carefully, and it's already started to stick. I'm going to go ahead and put the drive in just about like that. And it's easy with double-sided mounting tape like this.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is push down hard, just for a few seconds, and it's stuck there. That's not going anywhere. And of course, because SSDs produce very little heat, you don't have to worry about it on getting unstuck anymore. Man, I need to take another sip of water. I got that, what do they call it, cotton mouth again? All right, so I'll go ahead and put this back in. And we'll go ahead, when you put this in, you want to be a little careful, but this actually slides in like this. There's a little mount here, a little circular mount. And stick that in there, and you want to make sure that you get that in, and it just slides down. Now, of course, you want to make sure that your cables are out of the way. And you just push down, if I remember correctly, and forward and back. And that's it. She's mounted in. So at this point, we can go ahead and hook up our SATA cables. There's going to be two here. You got your data cable and your power cable.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and start with the data cable. Make sure I'm plugging this in right here. Hopefully I'm not obscuring the view. I don't think I am. So plug that in, just like that. And we'll go ahead and now plug the power cable in.
Now I got a question for the audience.
And I was doing this wrong. Go ahead.
Now, you'll note if the connections are backwards. I mean, not backwards as where you put them, but backwards as saying sometimes the connector itself could be reversed, correct?
Not in this case. Not in this case. That was one thing that they did really well with the SATA standard. There's no way to plug it in backwards. Now, I guess theoretically you could, but you would actually break the connector if you tried.
Gotcha.
So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I need to go ahead and change the bracket out on this, which is something I probably should have did before, but I honestly, guys and gals out there, I totally forgot that these were low profile cards when I bought them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know, folks. I haven't had my dinner yet, so I'm probably dealing with some low blood sugar at the moment.
Well, if you had longer arms, you could reach for your water.
I could reach for my water, and I will here in a minute. So let's go ahead and open this up. I'm not being very ginger, folks, with this. And to be honest with you, you don't really need to. These are pretty tough cards. But I like these because these are actually very capable cards, believe it or not. I actually know people that play World of Warcraft on this. Okay. And what's the other one? World of Warcraft, Game of Thrones. It'll work, but you're gonna have to do it in like medium to low settings. But that's not really what these are designed for. These cards are more for businesses. You can actually do some AutoCAD work with these. Again, this is a Radeon R7 240 with a 1 gigabyte memory. So it says 1 gig of RAM built into it.
Yeah. Now for another update here, and you can give a thumbs up, Matt. We got 9 watchers and 8 likes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me find some parts I need here.
As he goes into the mysterious closet.
The mysterious closet. You guys, if you want to come in and pan in here, you can. It's kind of a mess.
Just the parts room, folks.
This is the parts bin here. Yeah, this is pretty much where everything is stored. If you want to go in for a minute, I'll go ahead and start working on this.
Assorted parts, all tagged and bagged. The monitors, okay.
All right, I'm going to let Bill out now. And this is...
Hey, watch how you say that.
No, we're not going to go there.
No.
Nope. So, yeah, right now I got to change the low profile for the standard bracket there. It's really easy to do, actually. So the only thing you're going to need is... What is this one I use? This is a T8 Torx bit screwdriver, and then just a little Phillips head. And what I like to do is put that in there, and that's too small. Not a T8, folks. Need a thicker one here. Let's see. Go with the T10. Let's see if the T10 works. T10, yep. So you put that in, basically, and you turn, and you're going to take off the 2 standoff screws.
Mm-hmm.
Trying not to touch the card edge there. I do that, I know. I'm bad. Bad Matt.
That's it.
And
There'll be
then-
severe repercussions for this later on.
That's it. That's it. And then got a little screw in this case here you got to remove. Which you want to try not to strip these, and somebody has already stripped this one, so I'm going to get a different screwdriver. That's the thing when you buy them used, you never know who's been working on these before.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there we go. They call it the right tool for the right job. So I'm going to go ahead and put that bracket down. And I think I just lost that screw there. Oh, it's right here.
Well,
So,
Stephen Barber's in the house.
awesome. So we'll go ahead and put this in. This is probably honestly the hardest part.
Well, aren't you glad you're not holding the camera while trying to do this?
Absolutely. So go ahead and put that screw in if possible. Of course, anything's possible. Could never do this one-handed. There's just no way. No way.
Well, let's put it this way. If you could do it one-handed, you wouldn't be here.
That's right. There we go.
And of course, you have a captive audience overlooking your shoulder.
That's it. I get a little nervous, folks. I'm not used to all this attention.
Well, Alvin and the Chipmunks are up there on the top shelf,
Okay.
either praying or saying, "Great job, Matt."
Let's hope they're saying great job, Matt. Because if they were, we all know what a prayer book Alvin is. So I don't think he would be praying, but maybe Theodore would be. Maybe Theodore.
So how old is that collection up there, Matt?
That collection I have had since I was about 10 years old. So we're going on what, 25?
So in other words, you're
plus
knee.
years.
So in other words, you should have said a knee high to a grasshopper.
Knee high to a grasshopper. You got it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to push. In this case, there's a little button here. You push this, and then the bracket falls.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go ahead and put the card in. Now with this, basically we're just going to go ahead and stick it in like this, noting that you want to make sure it's in the actual card edge itself.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, even pressure, 2 hands, push down, and going to make sure that it's in its little standoff here.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. And then I'm just going to go ahead and push that back in. And that's it.
Voila.
That is it. So at this point, we've installed the new video card, the memory, the SSD, CMOS battery, thank you. Put new thermal paste on. And I'm going to go ahead and put the front cover back on because we don't actually need to do anything else there. It's already got a DVD burner in there, so I'm not going to worry about replacing that.
Okay.
Go ahead and when you put this on, you want to be a little careful. These can be a little tricky. You want to stick to those little holes down there. You can angle it just like that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And these are a little bit hard, but once you get it in right, you just push, and that's it. So, the last thing I am going to do, another invaluable tool to the computer refurbisher, cable ties. Get these at Dollar Tree, folks. So I want to, this is not 100% necessary, but I am a little OCD, and I like my cables to be tidy. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of cable ties on here. Not a lot. In this case, I think I'm just going to do it like this. And I totally missed that one. There we go. Cable ties are really good to have. I'm telling you, these things are cheap and they make everything look nice. And once again, all I'm trying to do here is kind of brace these. I probably should have looped that a little bit better, folks. I'm a little nervous. I've never done this with another person here, so just kind of bear with me. this. I never professed to be a great organizer. That's kind of my mother's department more than anything, I would say. And I think what I will do. Think that'll work good.
Yeah, if you want to try to snip off the ends of those ties.
Oh yeah, that's the last thing we're gonna have to do. And that's good. That's good enough for me. So let me go ahead and don't use this. Just don't. I'm gonna grab my scissors, but I will tell you a quick story. I used a utility knife like that one time to snip these, and I was not being careful, and I wound up cutting right through the power cable. I do much better with the scissors. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And
there you go, folks.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and move all these parts over, and once again, just throw those anywhere. I don't care for right now.
Luckily, I'm not showing where they are going right now.
That's it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need to go ahead and clear off some space here.
Okay.
But that is pretty much it, folks. That computer is now ready to receive an OS. And can you guys guess, while I'm cleaning here, can you guess what operating system I'm going to be putting on here? I'll give you guys a few minutes. Get your guesses in. And I'll let Bill tell me. Put that in there.
All I know is we have 9 watchers and 8 likes, so keep them coming, folks.
That is awesome.
Chris Garrett says Windows 98.
Windows 98. That would be a feat. And I'll tell you, this computer.
George Blakely III says Windows 10.
George Blakely wins.
What does he win?
He wins my admiration.
And a 2-handed clap.
And a 2-handed clap. Or a 2 elbow clap.
No. Give him an Air 5.
Air 5. Air 5.
George Blakely in the house.
George, nice to see you, George. And I am just going to put this stuff, what the heck. We'll put it over here for right now. Bill's learning my motion here. I like to work fast because I don't know if we're going to kill my battery. That's one thing I'm concerned about.
Well, I'm also not trying to show what is next.
Ah, that's okay. So now we need to go ahead and
do me a favor. Why don't you take a sip of water so you can keep your voice going?
Sure. Let's go ahead and do that.
And what type of water are you drinking there, Matt?
I have some great value purified drinking water.
No Mayo in it?
No, not now. Actually, believe it or not, that would actually dry me out even worse than I than I am at the moment. All
right, so what size monitor are you playing with now?
So what I have here right now, this is a Dell model ST2010. So this is a 20-inch monitor.
That'll work. That's good for testing purposes.
That's it. I'm just going to go ahead and hook everything up back here. You guys probably don't need to see that.
All right, we got 10 watchers and 8 likes still.
Nice. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and...
Carl Taylor says, not a fair fight. George came with that in mind. The Windows 10. Chris Garrett says, my dog wants to go out, but it's pouring rain.
I'm keeping this family friendly. My mind went elsewhere. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plug this in, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to have enough room. My Ethernet cable is long enough. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna change the view on this because I'm gonna kneel down and.
I'm gonna go ahead and install Windows now. Oh man, I should have moved that. I should have grabbed that before I put it over here.
It's okay.
So I have a bootable SD, a bootable flash drive here. It's a SanDisk. These I got really cheap at Walmart. They were like clearanced out for $3 or $4, and the reason is they're really flimsy. So when I put this into the USB port, I literally have to hold the button half the time so it doesn't come out. Well, it pushed back in. Well, in this case, it worked. So at this point, let's go ahead and turn it on. And if I remember correctly, I think you hit enter. Hopefully it'll boot. Hopefully it'll post, let's say. Fingers crossed that we got everything in there and that it's working.
I just don't want to see a BSOD.
Yeah, me neither. And there's always a possibility. I see a blue light on the keyboard, but I'm not seeing anything coming from the monitor.
Power
yet.
light is on the monitor on the lower right-hand corner.
Okay, yeah, but we're not getting...
Did you hook the monitor into the system?
I did indeed hook the monitor into the system, so we got something weird going on here, and I noticed that
the RAM was seated correctly, correct?
The RAM was seated correctly, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and power cycle the monitor just in case it's maybe on the wrong input, which it is not, so that's okay. This does happen from time to time, especially with used parts sometimes. Go ahead and power this down, and I'm going to go ahead and just try to reboot it one more time. Let's see if that fixes the problem. Sometimes you just got to give these systems a second boot. I didn't hear the fan spin up, so that was a good sign. At least, I mean, spin up really hard. Okay. We are still not getting anything. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the system off. And I'll be honest with you folks, I have not actually worked with this system before, so it very well could be a bad motherboard in here too. I honestly don't know. That's the fun when you're working with used equipment. That's why I always give a guarantee. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make sure the video card is seated in there properly, which it is.
All right, I'm coming around to...
That's okay.
Show the people what you're doing.
I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of sticks of RAM out real quick.
Now, could it be that those are used RAM that you got off the internet, or?
It could be a bad RAM stick. So I'm going to go ahead and put these to the side, and I'm going to use this other stick, which I've tested before. This stick I know is good.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this one stick back in.
Mm-hmm.
Again, doing it the same way. In this case, I'll just use one hand. And I'm not even going to bother, at this point, putting the cover back on yet. Let's go ahead and plug the power in and see if we get anything. Go ahead and turn it on. And it's fine being on the side like that. Ah! Okay.
Now,
that double beep sounds like it's a RAM problem. So what I'm thinking is we may have an incompatible stick of memory, which is very possible. That actually can happen. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug this. And
yes, folks, remember to unplug your machinery.
yes, that is key. And I'm going to go ahead and put one of these other sticks in here real quick. And we'll try this one. Pretty sure that was a good stick, but you know.
One never knows.
Okay. Double beep.
I'm hoping
that may not be the memory, folks. It may not be. Generally, the double beep is a memory issue, but it might not be.
Could it be one of the RAM slots? I'm just putting it out there.
It could be. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and try it in the other two RAM slots, and I'm sure there might be somebody out there that's already saying, Matt, you're stupid, I know what the problem is, and you might be right, because I'll be honest with you, I don't work with these Lenovo's all that much, so I may actually be doing something wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not. That would kind of look poorly on me, you know? But it happens.
Well, you wouldn't be the first one to have it happen to you.
It happens. So let's give it a try. Let's see. Okay, so we're getting 2 beeps. So I'm thinking the next thing I'm going to try real quick is go ahead and take out the video card, because that could also be a possibility. You may have a bad video card. I've even seen it to where these video cards are incompatible with the firmware on the motherboard or the BIOS itself.
And you just got something to show up on the monitor.
Oh yeah, that's because I unplugged it. Let me go ahead and grab. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of these adapters. I'm gonna go ahead and try the onboard video. That's the very next thing. And this does have onboard video, but I need to use a HDMI to DisplayPort adapter. Go ahead and plug that in.
Mr. Taylor says double beep means you're missing the most obvious thing.
Okay, what am I missing? What did he say?
You just said you're missing the obvious thing with the double beep.
Ah! Guess what, folks? It was a video card problem, because we are getting a screen here. So I got the 8 gigs of memory in there. It's finding the SSD and the CD-ROM. It just says memory size decrease. So I guess whoever had this computer before had more than 8 gigs of RAM in there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit F1. And
Chris Garrett says BIOS update.
That could be. That's very good, Chris. It could be an issue with the BIOS. So let me just go in. I'm curious to see what this is. So if you want to go in there, this is a Core i5 2400 running at 3.1 gigahertz.
Okay, and what button for our uninitiated people did you press to get to the BIOS setup?
Well, in this case, because there was an error, I just had to hit F1 and it went in there. But I believe you hit Enter to get into the BIOS on here.
Okay, just for the uninitiated people that are actually just starting to watch.
That's fine. So we have 1 gig of built-in video. This must be a Intel HD card, I'm thinking. If it's a Core i5. And we actually do have, this is a quad core. So at this point, I am going to go ahead, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and exit the BIOS. And what I'm going to do, we're going to try the video card one more time, because it's very possible that it just wasn't in all the way. So I'm going to go ahead and, it's already booting. It's booting off the USB drive. That's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull the power cord.
Yeah.
And go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and put the video card back in here. Just real quick. And we're going to go ahead and give that a try. One more time. And I'll use the adapter on here, because this video card actually has, you're not going to be able to see it, but you have to trust me, it has the display port on there. And let me go ahead and plug this back in. Let's give it a try. Let's just see what happens. Okay. Yeah, still not working. Okay. So for the sake of time, and I apologize in advance for those of you that wanted to actually see this system with the dedicated graphics card, I'm not going to be able to do it, because I don't think we're going to have time. I'm not going to have time to basically try another one in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the onboard graphics for now, which is actually okay. It's not that big of a deal. Things never, when you're doing live video, and they'll tell you this in the news business, it never goes as planned. Almost never, let's say.
True that.
All right, so let's go ahead and start the Windows install.
Mark Covington is in the house.
Hey, Mark, nice to see you, buddy. I haven't heard from you recently.
He asked what's happening.
I'll go ahead and give it over to Bill for that one.
We're in the process of rebuilding or refurbishing a computer system, and now we're in the process of testing it to see if it'll function properly.
Yep, exactly. And we're going to be installing Windows here. So once again, for the latecomers, it was all done. It's all done, and we're installing Windows. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the dedicated graphics card to work, so we're using the onboard graphics for the rest of this.
All right.
So at this point, if you can get a good shot of that, we'll go ahead and just click next. We're going to use.
Sorry about the camera work, folks, as I kneel down to get a better shot.
It's okay. We're going to use the standard settings here for the install. Click next. Click install now. Now this one has a product key, I think. Let me see, or is this a Windows 8 system?
Mark Covington asked, what computer is that y'all are putting together?
This is a Lenovo ThinkCenter. So there is a product key that I have to enter here. So I'm going to go ahead and have Bill pan away just for a minute or two. You can look at me, or you can show them something around the room here while I enter this product key in. And I'm blind as a bat, so I need to go ahead and get a flashlight here.
I like the stereo system Matt's got in the corner over there.
That's my Onkyo. That's my nighttime stereo. That's how I go to sleep at night.
Now I'm going to go see while Matt's doing that. I'm just going to pan around the room, and Matt will give me the thumbs up when he's ready to go. Looks like it's cleared off out in the outside. We had some rain over here the other day, actually this morning and this afternoon. Are we all done there, Matt?
I'll let you know in just a second. I need to make sure that I entered that in right. There must be something off here. Oh, there it is. Hopefully that's it. And believe it or not, it's not that important to put the product key in right now. In my case, because this is a Windows 7 system, I'm going to use Windows 7 product key to activate it.
And by the way,
you can always do that later.
And by the way, Mark Covington asked, who's the special guest you have with you?
Oh, go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's Bill here, and I will pan around. You can see my ugly mug.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Enough of that.
No ugly mug, though. You're not ugly.
I got a face for radio. All right, we got 14 watchers and 9 likes, Matt.
Nice. I tell you, one thing that drives me crazy, they make it so hard for you to read the product keys on here. That's what's taking me so long.
Good to meet you, Mark. That's what's
the B's look like A's, the 8's look like B's
now,
half the time.
By the way, I'm not going to call Matt out on his lifestyle change, diet-wise, but I'm going to pan up to see what his grandmother sent him a long time ago.
Before we do that, go ahead. You can show.
Right there between Alvin, and Alvin is definitely eyeballing that burger.
That was something my grandmother gave me years ago. So at this point,
shout out to the grandmother,
Miss Olson.
Miss Olson.
Who has sadly passed, but she had a great life.
I just got to ask you, give a shout out to Mark Covington. He just gave a super chat of $5.
Mark, you're awesome, buddy. You don't have to do it every time, but we always appreciate it. And generally, when you guys give those, I get the cat's treats.
Cool beans.
That's
and here's the thing. All right, give me another thumbs up because we're about to announce we got 12 watchers.
Woohoo!
11 likes. And Mark Covington's super chat. Yeah!
All right, Mark. Super chat. Always appreciate it.
All right, now let's get back to our regularly scheduled video.
So once that product key is entered in, go ahead and accept the terms. You have to accept those.
Mm-hmm.
You got to sign your life away, or they don't let you do anything else.
Yep.
Go ahead and click next. Now, at this point, you always want to do a custom install Windows.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And right now, because the only drive we have in there is the SSD, drive 0,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go ahead and that's highlighted. All I have to do is click next. And Windows is going to install. That literally don't have to do anything else for a few minutes.
And
So,
and how long does this install usually take?
well, Windows 10 on an SSD, probably about 5 to 10 minutes. It's very, very
And
quick.
compared to a conventional hard drive?
If it was a conventional hard drive, I would say more like
Half
15 to 20 minutes.
half hour, maybe?
Mhm.
Okay.
Probably about twice as fast, I would say.
Alrighty.
So, for those of you that want to see this, and I haven't done one of these in a while either, I'm just going to show you a few items I picked up today at the garage sales while this is installing.
You know, I hate when they sell the garage.
That's right. That's right. And you want to know something funny? We went to a garage sale today where they were literally selling the house. So yes, they were literally selling the garage.
And where was this house?
This was over off of Dock Landing.
Okay.
You guys may not know, may or may not know.
Sorry, folks.
Hang on. Oh.
Technical difficulty.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good there.
Sorry about
There
that,
we
folks. A
go.
little technical difficulties.
All right, so just a few items. This was actually something I got from Target on clearance. Nothing too major. Microfiber comforter, because this bed, what do you call it? Throw is really for winter. I needed something just a little bit lighter, and you can see that's really light. Although I got to be careful because if the cats get a hold of that, that's really thin. So what I'll probably do during the day is put that underneath and this on top, just so the cats don't claw at it.
Okay.
A couple other things. Got some Oro gold toe socks. These are wool socks. So these will be for winter.
And they look actually kind of very well made.
And they are definitely well made. They're, what are they, 40, what is it, 24% wool and 54% acrylic and then 22% nylon. Because let's face it, if you ever had old wool socks, you put those things on, you start sweating.
Yeah.
They are going to itch. And anybody out there ever had a cast on, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Worst thing, that's why you keep rather long pencils around.
That's it. You're like, ah.
And yes, we are trying to keep this family friendly.
We are. There was nothing bad about that.
No,
there was nothing bad. Believe me. And I think that was about it. Honestly, I didn't really pick up.
What's in your right hand there, Matt? You look like you're playing for shirt. Or a pair of slacks. You want my glasses, by the way? I don't need them, obviously.
No. I'm laughing because I wasn't going to buy this. This is like one of those really cheap acrylic pants they're like 100% polyester. They feel like sandpaper, but it is my size, and there's one reason I bought it, folks, and it was from the thrift store, CHKD. Shout out to the CHKD on airline. Wayne, if you're seeing this, buddy, this was at your store.
Yeah. And by the way, Mr. Garrett says, I hate it when they do a yard sale and sell the yard.
That's it. Get a close-up of that real quick. What does that say? Is it
Hold on a
focusing?
second. Just stay steady there, dude.
Okay. Can you see it?
Something about I got it, but I just can't see it too
No.
well.
Oh, I'm sorry. My finger was on it. Okay, yeah, right there. Can you see what that says?
Move your finger out of the way.
Geek Squad.
Okay.
Geek Squad. Many years ago.
By the way, that comment just went over my head, hit the wall, and came back. So have a good day.
Oh, okay. Well, many years ago, I worked for the Geek Squad at Best Buy, and that's actually where these came from. And it says, never say, I don't know, say, I'll find out. And that must have been a motto afterwards, because our old motto was, I don't know, and I can't find out. Bum.
That's about it. That's as
Bummo, as Johnny would say. I try, folks. It's late at night, so I don't know if that joke hit, but I figured I would try.
I think we all got the gist of the joke.
We definitely got the gist of it.
All right, so how are we doing on this install here, dude?
I need to go ahead and pull the USB stick out real quick because it booted from it again. So
Okay.
if that happens, just pull the USB flash drive out,
Okay.
reboot, and while it's out, at this point you don't even really need it, so you can just keep it out.
And Chris Garrett says nowadays you just say Google is my friend.
That's it. And again, for the sake of time, I am probably going to end it as soon as we get through the rest of the setup here because
Hmm.
once again, I haven't even eaten and I don't know if did you get a chance? Did you ever have dinner tonight, Bill?
Yeah, I grabbed a little snack out of the fridge and nuked it.
What'd you get? What'd you eat?
A chickamunga or something like that. A burrito. I'll
A
just say,
burrito. There we
an
go.
off take of a burrito.
He got a burrito. I don't even know what I'm gonna have tonight. To be honest with you, I'm in the mood for oatmeal. I don't know why. I'm like an oatmeal fanatic. I could eat oatmeal. I kid you not, morning, noon, and night.
Okay. Mark Covington asks, hey, Matt, what operating systems are you still usable today?
Okay. So I gotta be
Good
careful.
question.
I gotta be careful how I answer this because people are gonna say, "Oh well, yeah, that's usable. That's not usable." Windows 10, of course, Windows 8, and Windows 7 with a caveat there. Windows 7 is usable, but you need to make sure you have the right security software installed. So because there's no more support for it, they're not putting out patches.
Hmm.
You would need to make sure that you had a good antivirus, good anti-spyware, and there are third-party programs out there, or I say third-party patches that you want to install. There isn't an official like Service Pack 2,
Hmm.
but there is one that some very clever programmers have made, and basically what it is, it's a compilation of all the latest of last security updates up to when they stopped producing them, which I think was like a year ago, and then some other patchwork that makes it more stable and more
Okay.
secure.
Eric says Linux is still the best usable. LOL.
It is. I have to agree there. Linux is good for the techie and the medium to advanced user, but a beginner is not going to know what to do with it.
Because remember when you and I went to school at TCC, I think we were running what, Red Hat for Linux a long time ago?
Yes, because you're right. Because I think at that time that's all that was available. Okay, so now that we have the installation almost done,
All right,
I'm
so
just going to plug this back
hold,
in.
hold
real
on a
quick.
second. Chris Garrett says if you do a clean install of Windows 7, there's a few little tweaks you have to use to get the updates going.
That's right. That's right. And that I might show that. We might. That gives me an idea. We might do the next live stream we do. We might try that because I have all those tweaks and all those patches.
Hmm.
So that's a good point. I might try to incorporate that into the next live stream. Thank you, Chris, for reminding me about that.
Uh,
So I put the USB flash drive in again, just in case. I'm going to go ahead and have Bill, if you want to pan right up in here. I'm going to go ahead and just, so we're in the US. You got it?
got it.
Good. So we're in the US. So we'll click next. We're going to use the US keyboard. Do you want to add a second keyboard? No, we're going to skip that for now.
To answer your question, Mark, they just announced Windows 11, and it's going to look like iMac.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
I know. I don't believe it. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to change it because I just see Apple. Apple has always been very lawsuit happy, and I could just see them bringing up a lawsuit for that, especially if they make it look too much like the Apple OS. Okay, so we're going to go personal use in this case. We'll click next. And here is where you want to be careful. If this was a Windows, if I was using a Windows 7 Home key, which would install Windows 10 Home,
Hmm.
I would have to unplug the Ethernet cable, or it would force me to sign into a Microsoft account. So in this case, I'm just going to, because this is Pro, I can go down here and I can click an offline account. and it's going to say you're going to have, all these great things. Sign in to create an account. It's going to be marvelous. You can use Office online. The person that's going to get this computer later on might want to do that, but for me to set it up, I'm just going to click limited experience, which is fine. We're just going to create a local account. um, what in the world? Oh, it's installing the video driver. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Boy, I'm gonna have egg on my face if this thing conks out.
It's okay.
Come on, don't.
You're only 5 steps away from the men's room.
I know, I know. Oh, come on.
And I'm sure it'll be a good laugh for everybody out there.
All right, show me real quick. They don't need to see that. I know.
Hey,
I know.
guys, let's give a shout out to Matt. He's sort of feeling a little down right now.
That's my luck if this thing freezes up. And once again, I'm going to reiterate: there's always risk when you're using used hardware, and there could be a motherboard issue in this. Remember, the dedicated graphics card wasn't working, so yeah, this is okay. Before I give up, and I'm not one that easily gives up, I'm just going to go ahead and pull the cable out real quick. And see if that makes a difference. If not, we'll reboot. It's very possible that the driver installation just caused Windows to freeze. So I'm going to go ahead and push the power button. We'll turn it off real quick. And you want to go ahead and show them the system for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and reboot. Yeah, that's not good. I got to do a hard reset on here. Okay. Give this another try, folks. I swear, I feel we're going to get it. I think we're going to get it. So let's see. Let's see if it comes up now. All right. Okay. So you see how we're kind of at a half screen right now?
Mm-hmm.
So what I think happened was the video card driver installed and just it froze up. That happens sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the same prompts that we just went through before. Hoping that everything works. I should actually see if the optical drive's working. Well, at least the drawer comes out.
Hey, it's better than pressing the button and having it stuck in there.
That's it. Okay, so offline account. This is where it's stuck before. So I'm going to click limited experience. And that's good. So we still have a screen. So I'm just going to type in a name for it. And I'm going to call it Lenovo M. We'll just call it Think. My typing skills are terrible. Think Center M.
Well, at least you're not the one-finger typing class yet.
No, not that bad yet. And we'll click next. Not going to make a password, so click next on that. You don't have to put a password in. Now, at this screen, there are two things I like to turn off. I like to turn off the tailored experience. Let Microsoft use diagnostic data. Don't give Microsoft any more power than they already have. And I'm going to turn off advertising because you don't want them to put advertising out that's tailored to you. That's not important. You don't want to give them that power. And I'll keep Find My Device. That way it'll set the clock automatically. We'll click accept.
Top Shelf says, "Hey, Matt."
Hey, Top Shelf. Nice to see you. I am not going to set up Cortana because the next owner of this system, if I do wind up selling it, if it passed my rigorous hardware diagnostics, may not want it. So I'm just going to click Not Now. And let's see what happens. We're getting everything ready for you.
Chris Garrett asks, when will Microsoft realize that everybody disables those that you just disabled?
I know it. I'm sure they already do, but what they're doing is they're banking on the people that don't know any better.
And Mark Covington says, what is Lenovo?
Lenovo is a company that IBM sold their domestic computers to back in the day. So this is basically an IBM system. I think it was probably about 10, 15 years ago now, IBM took their consumer systems, or what they considered consumer systems, and they sold it to Lenovo. And then about a year later, they did the same with their professional grade systems.
Okay.
So you actually can't even buy a quote unquote IBM computer anymore. Everything is Lenovo at this point.
That'll work. Because he just asked if Lenovo was better than Windows.
Well,
But
that's
Windows, the operating-
hardware. Yeah, that's hardware versus software.
Yeah.
And as you can see, we have a desktop. So I'm going to open this up real quick, and I'm just going to look at the specs, show you guys the specs. I'm going to click File Explorer. We'll right-click on this PC and then left-click Properties. And as you can see, got the Core i5-2400 with 8 gigs of RAM, a little less now because we're not using the dedicated graphics card, so the onboard graphics share that memory. I'm going to really quick, I want to look and see if it activated, and it did. So we're activated with a digital license. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're almost done here, folks. I appreciate those of you that stuck with me the whole time. I'm going to go on display settings because I just really want to see what kind of onboard graphics this is.
And I know I keep saying this, but we have 13 watchers and 12 likes.
You can't see it, but I'm giving a thumbs up. And this has the HD Graphics 2000, which I would have expected because this is a second gen Sandy Bridge system.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have the second gen Intel HD graphics. That's going to be it, folks. That is a basic computer refurbishment. So once again, to recap, we took a computer that was pretty much bare bones. It only had the motherboard and the CPU in there. We added the memory, changed the CMOS battery out, attempted to put a video card in. That part didn't work out, but I think that's probably just down to a faulty graphics card. So I'll fix that later after we're done here. Put in the solid state hard drive and installed Windows. And if you can give me a time, do we have a time on there right now?
1 hour, 12 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Okay, so I'm going to take off about 12 minutes for the intro to this.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing took about an hour, folks. So that is it for this live stream. Thank you all for coming. Once again, Mark, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Are there any other super chats? I don't want to miss anybody.
Just that one.
Just that one from from Mark Covington.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you again. Please continue to like and subscribe. And what do we always say? Have a blessed day, everybody.
Middle button.
Yep. And then, yes.
Oh.
I'll do it. Yeah, that's cool. So the X and stop.